Well, I've been talking to you for the last 6 weeks, telling you it was about to happen, and we are here. Today's day one, the inaugural, the Reality Check podcast. Welcome. I'm Mike Scully, the host. I'm in studio with my boys. I've been talking about them for weeks. I got Johnny Nick, the gorgeous bald man from Free Shoes University. Patrick, Trick Leslie.
All right.
Our boy, Yoda, Mr. Carl Nicolosi. And we got Shooter over there behind the board. So welcome, boys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Good to be here finally, huh?
Absolutely.
Been doing some dry runs, having a good time doing it, and getting ready to talk about it. Well, there's a lot going on in the world.
Yes, there is.
Maybe not so much in sports right now, but there's a lot going on in the world. But we're not going to get into the fact that we got a president with dementia. That's not what we're going to talk about today.
Not yet.
Now, we'll get into that a little later. But one of the hot buttons for me, obviously you guys know with my football and golf background, was the PGA of America made their Ryder Cup captain pick this week.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. And their selection was, I like his passion. I like his heart. But, again, I think my former association, really fucked up this time, being political and trying to be politically correct.
It was an NFL makeup call.
Yes.
They made up the call from leaving him off and he was butthurt.
Well, we should have left Zach Johnson in Paris, but we didn't do that.
Or Rome.
Yeah, but obviously the choice of Keegan Bradley has been the talk of the golf world at this time.
Politically correct, right?
Yeah, and it's and I think Keegan is going to make a great captain. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's 10 years ahead of his time.
I agree. So why not Tiger? I mean, Tiger is the ultimate. I mean, why do you not pick the greatest golfer of all time, to be the captain?
I'm all for just picking someone that's, got their nose on the table, just all kinds of bad boy stuff going on.
He only plays in majors.
Have something to prove. Like, you can't. Golf's too clean for me. I need to let's get dirty.
You want Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, I'm thinking Dustin.
Chubbs.
Exactly, Dustin Johnson.
Little cocaine.
I mean, come on, yeah, whatever. Let's party. Let's make it fun.
But I think digging in, talking to Carl before in the green room, I think Tiger turned it down.
No.
He very much did turn it down. He's a very busy guy. I mean, he's busy with the PGA, and he said he's not going to do it this year, but he didn't close the door. It's possible he may rise and shine and become captain.
Yeah, so that opens up the door. Why wasn't it Phil Mickelson? Do we want to get into the live golf crap?
Oh, yeah.
That's why, because of Liv. And that's why Dustin Johnson's not there. I mean, I do like a good comeback story.
Phil would be a good
He'd
good
be
dude.
a great.
Yeah,
he gambles on life. He's a capitalism American at his finest.
Right. 100%.
Good old lefty.
But again, it's you go back. I'm going to bang on him again here for a little bit, but trying to be politically correct and making the politically correct decision of hiring Keegan Bradley as the captain, it was the wrong choice. I mean, that association now has a history of doing it. Guys, I can tell you a story. In 2012, when I was at Medina, I had my responsibility on Thursday. The opening ceremony was President Trump at the time, TV star President Trump, and real estate mogul and his beautiful wife Melania. The PGA of America was kissing his ass because they wanted him for future host sites. And then he becomes president, and then all of a sudden DEI hires and all that crap jump in there. And they just, in my eyes, they keep continuing to make the wrong mistake. And was just not a good hire.
So what does that leave us as a nation for the Ryder Cup? Are we screwed, or are we going to pull something out of our ass?
No, Keegan will do a great job, but I just think it's 10 years too early. I mean, he has a legitimate chance. He plays well. He could be the player captain. I mean, he's still playing at a very, very high level. I think the last one may have been Jack Nicklaus.
I thought Pete Rose was the last one to do that. We know how that worked out.
That was player coach, yeah. But so we'll have to wait and see how that shakes out. But it's tough. I mean, golf right now on TV, you boys know it's like watching paint dry. I mean, now the majors were great. U.S. Open was incredible.
Well, because it's a major, but yeah.
And Rory's still wandering around downtown Manhattan trying to figure out how to make a 3-foot putt.
Twice.
I mean, Scully, this is your thing. You can talk about this stuff all day long.
Oh, it drives me batshit crazy, John. Sorry. Get off my soapbox.
No, I like the soapbox. I watch Full Swing, and I watch those people across the pond, if you will. I'll be very nice to them. The ones, we won our independence from. And hoot and holler, make us feel like we were beneath them, which I didn't like. And we got our asses whipped. I want to win this year. It's on our soil. Why can't we get our shit together and actually win a fucking Ryder Cup?
Got to make the right choices. And again, it goes back, my experience with this the Europeans do it the right way. I mean, you look at, there was a photo that was released the other night in London, a dinner. Luke Donald, who's the captain again after winning in Paris, is going to be captain at Bethpage. Who was sitting at the table, at the dinner table? Tyrrell Hatton. Terrell Hatton. Terrell Hatton plays on Live. But he's at the dinner with McIlroy was in the room. I believe Shane Lowry was there with Luke Donald having dinner in London, getting ready because obviously it's Scottish Open this week, and then we have the British or the Open Championship next week.
It's the British Open. Sorry.
Yeah, well, to us it is. To them it's the Open Championship. But, I mean, they seem to have, let bygones be bygones and let the guys chase their own dollars.
Because they want to win.
What are we missing in America? People don't play forgotten country anymore.
No, it's all
This
That's
isn't
the
the
bottom line.
Olympics. No, you're right.
We're missing
just-
the deep pockets of the Saudis.
I mean, it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, but Carl, the Saudis are into everything. And so for us to be hypocritical and say that, you can't do that in golf, I mean, you watch. This will be the final statement. We'll move on to another topic. But you watch. History will rewrite. Phil Mickelson was the right decision when he pushed this live narrative with Greg Norman.
You got everyone more money. I mean, why do you go to college to make more money?
And the guys on tour should be kissing his. They should build a bronze a statue of the guy at some point somewhere.
Good luck with that.
Right on.
Exactly. All right. So we also had. So obviously the Ryder Cup decision was a big one. We've got Caitlin Clark. John, you want to talk about Caitlin Clark?
If you keep talking about Caitlin Clark, I'm getting up and I'm going to walk out that freaking door. I'm done.
So you hate
It's
her too?
over.
So you're like the entire WNBA? You hate her too?
On Caitlin Clark. And I'm looking at his girl right over there, and I think she knows it.
Hey, to quote David Chappelle playing Prince, it's good before she even shoots it.
I mean, done. No more Caitlin Clark. You've been wanting to talk about this every week. All our dry runs, green room, Caitlin Clark. I've walked into your place, and you got it on the TV. I mean, and then we're trying to watch another sport, and you keep going back to it. Like you got the obsession's dark, man. You got to let it go.
Well,
it's
personal there. My daughter lives in Iowa City. She married into a Hawkeye family. So it's I've become very close to that. Now it's very tough for a guy who's got the eye in his chest, the orange eye, but I just think she's exceptional, and you can't argue with numbers, John. I mean, you just can't argue with numbers. 700,000 votes. I think the leading vote getter last year.
Exactly. Yeah, let the boy watch like I did, like my father before me. Let the boy watch some WNBA because otherwise you ain't watching shit.
Well, I mean, she went for what, 29-13 yesterday?
Okay, every show, let's do a stat. We'll do stat time on Caitlin Clark. Okay?
All right, we'll go.
All right, make you happy.
All right,
wherever makes you happy.
Let's get
You're
into
a lot
it
bigger
then.
than me,
All
so,
right,
all right,
let's move on to talk about COPA.
What's that?
Oh, you want to talk soccer?
We'll talk a little soccer.
Oh,
soccer.
man, let's go, baby. I love a good soccer.
Are we going to hear from Yoda now?
Not yet. Yoda's going to chime in.
Okay.
So check this out. You guys, no news network is even talking about the COPA or who's winning, who's losing. CBS, NBC, Fox, ABC, nothing about the games, the outcomes. There's zero time.
Because it's soccer. Sorry.
All right. My portly friend over there.
That I am.
And sometimes angry. You don't understand the game. So check
Agreed.
this out. The beautiful thing about the difference between COPA and the Euro is COPA's like watching UFC. It's the wild, wild west. I mean, fouls, yellow cards out the yin yang. I mean, it's just amazing. Then you look at the Euro. These guys are like doing ballet. It's a symphony of just beauty to watch, to understand the chess game. And I'll tell you, this right now has been some of the best soccer I've seen and the best time as a viewer. Now, I once was a player, but it's gonna continue to grow. And you guys
not if the U.S. keeps losing.
You guys don't know what you're missing.
Well,
you guys don't know what you're missing.
Here, me being an American football guy, but the other night for Spain, it was a 16-year-old kid playing that was incredible.
Absolutely.
Against probably right now the best player in the world outside of Messi, Mbappe.
He's already been. There's rumor that I don't know if it's the fans talking but there's already rumors that PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, is looking at him.
Really?
So, and he's gonna for 16 is just to take over the game and to be that physical and to be able to score a goal like that. You guys.
Hey, John.
It's very hard.
Just a heads up. I just got a tweet from my daughter and Caitlin Clark. The people in Iowa City says, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, gladly. Maybe you guys should watch a little soccer because that's a real sport. So whatever.
Okay. Well, we got that. That's moving on. Which is getting exciting. We've got. How about we're going to get into the gambling standpoint. The Mirage closing in Las Vegas. I mean, after almost 40 years, because you two boys are big Seminole fellas. The Seminole Indians getting their first trip down memory lane there on the Las Vegas Strip.
Hey, we can get comp now in Vegas.
That's because all the money my boy lost at the Hard Rock in Florida, so they're going to expand now.
Why going to lose money? That just ain't right. I've been sitting next to you and watched you many a time. We have fun. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, sadly, I've walked
just
in
because I don't like soccer, you don't have to pick on me. Although I will say something real quick, circling back real quick on that. I was watching the game ever so briefly, and I saw this one dude from the COPA solarplex with his elbow right in the center of this dude's chest, and then he grabbed his kidney like he got punched. What is up with that? That's why, honestly, that's why a lot of people go. I'd like for any of these soccer players to put on pads, go over the middle, and catch a 10-yard in and get lit up by a linebacker.
Well,
then they could roll around and actually be in pain, as opposed to act like they get kicked in the kidney when you're the one hitting someone in the chest.
Number one, that's part of the game. Number two, I'd love to see. I don't know. Sorry, Scully, but 80% of the football players strap on some cleats and some shin guards and run for 90 minutes.
Oh, no, endurance soccer wins every time. But when we're talking about getting hit and these people rolling on the ground like they just broke their shin, and then the magic spray, they can cure cancer. They can cure cancer. It comes out and they spray it on their torn ACL and they hop up like nothing happened. Or better yet, they get carted off in a stretcher on the sideline, rub some dirt on it, and then they run back in like nothing happened. That's what I don't fucking understand.
Yellow cards, it's part of the game. Yellow cards make the other player play a little timid, so he can't go in as hard. So you're setting the tone. It's just a different, COPA, different style.
Fair.
But it is part of the game.
So it's like the NBA when they get called for flopping. Except in soccer, it's encouraged.
You have to remember in the NBA, they don't call that flopping. They call that LeBroning.
Oh, that is fair because no one touches you and you fall down. That is a great point, Scully.
There is a card for that now. So
sincerely?
Yeah.
I'm not being sarcastic. Right. Seriously, there is a card for flopping?
White boy from the South.
That never played soccer. First guy. You're right.
He's got no idea
None.
What it takes to play a soccer game.
You are 100% correct. Could not agree more.
Okay. Well, believe it or not, that's our end of our first segment, boys. How
Nicely
about
done.
that? Nicely done. We're going to go to break here, and we'll be back. We've got a heart out. We want to thank Shooters Bar and Grill for our sponsorship, and we'll be back just in a minute. Thank you. And we are back. Got a nice little break there. Thanks to Shooters Bar and Grill for that sponsorship of our first segment.
Great drinks.
Hey, the ladies and gentlemen, this whole concept for us came together through our love for the National Football League and the fantasy football. We all belong to a group called the Cats and Jammers.
Catch and Jammers rule.
Absolutely. Swarm. But, to get out and have some fun and talk about this and create some content. And we're going to start off, obviously, with training camp opening up, boys, in 2 weeks, the 23rd of July. Then the Hall of Fame game is August 1st, believe it or not.
Damn.
Yeah, the Bears and the Texans.
Exciting.
Yeah, they're in Canton. Bunch of good guys going into the Hall this year. But obviously, one of the hot topics is obviously the running back group and the rankings for fantasy. So as we lead in and tease into our process here and my guys making their picks and trying to make you folks some money, we want to discuss the old running back position today. And Patrick and I got into the green room this morning talking to our boy Derrick Henry. Patrick's not a fan, you're going to learn, but
blown tires.
Yes, we're gonna have a little discussion on that. So, obviously number one pick in the running back group is the boy from who just got married to Olivia Culpo.
Dun dun dun.
Mr. Christian McCaffrey. But
Sayonara.
give me some insight, boys, on the old running back position.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Scully. And as a two-time defending champion of the Cats and Jammers, I feel like I have a well-versed opinion on this, so I will gladly share it. To your point, Christian McCaffrey is the man, although with him getting married, I think it's going to spell doom for him because he's going to be distracted.
Wrong.
Okay, well, it could be. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. I'm just saying he's not going to be the best. The best is going to be Ba Jan, my boy from Atlanta. And yes, that's how I say his name, Ba Jan, because he goes Ba Ja as he runs by you, is what happens.
Shit team.
No doubt. But here's the thing. They finally have a quarterback. You are right. The Falcons are awful. And they just spent a buttload of money on 2 quarterbacks, which was dumb.
One coming off of an Achilles injury, which is very hard to recover from.
So hopefully they can mentor him. But this dude is a special breed. This kid is unbelievable.
Yeah, this kid's got some talent. I had him last year in the beginning of the season. A little disappointed, dropped him, picked up another running back, but I'm back on him this year.
Love it. And real quick to our viewers, so we understand there's different types of fantasy football. There's a snake draft where you pick someone and he's yours for life. Who gets hurt, you're just shit out of luck. There's like FanDuel where you're constantly picking people every week. But what we do is a salary cap league. And I think once this actually gets out, it's going to be one of the most enjoyable fantasy platforms you can have because you literally get to be the GM as far as money, balancing who's worth the money, who's not, because you got to bring in quarterbacks, running backs, and that brings us to a point on running backs today. Mm-hmm. They used to be the creme de la creme. You started every draft would go running back, running back, running back, running back, running back. Then you might have a wide receiver, running back, running back, running back, QB. Nowadays, because there's no one guy. Your Adrian Petersons are gone. Your Emmitt Smiths are gone. Your Jamal Charles are gone. Because they are usually split backs. So when you have someone like McCaffrey, even though he has to deal with someone like Deebo Samuels, he's still the guy to go with. So without being completely obvious and him being the guy, John, who would be your sleeper for a running back? Who do you think? And not necessarily a sleeper, but someone you think you should get on.
Well, definitely. I like to plagiarize what you and Yoda talk about because you all do a really good job every year staying in the top 3. And then even in our salary cap league, you guys are ranked pretty high amongst, a million teams out there. So
In the world.
That
is fair.
So I like Saquon Barkley.
Yes, God, I love you. You were so correct. Please continue.
Because he loves to catch the ball out of the backfield. Yep. I like Philly's quarterback.
Because he can't make more than 2 reads, and they're covered down the field. He's either going to run or throw it, and he doesn't want to get hurt, so he's going to. I love that.
Philly's got to come back. The city of brotherly love is looking good this year, and I like Philly. That unfortunately, Scully, we got our boy retiring.
Yep.
But I know you think that matters. But centers. They're going to be fine. I mean, there's another big guy right behind them. They don't run the ball. They just got to block. So, no. I mean, there's not really that big of a deal in what they have to do.
I'm about to kick the shit out of you.
Well, and to the point, I mean, no offense, Scully. He's probably one of the best centers forever.
He's the anchor.
He is the anchor, but here is the reality check. Oh, nice little plug. Here's the fact. It's the dude that taught them that played rugby, that did his Samoan dances, that taught them how to get that 1 yard and turn it into 4 and just make that wedge and break people's legs and do whatever they needed to do.
JML, right?
Jason Kelsey will have the same effect on the sidelines coaching as he would under center.
Ooh, wow, shot across the bow. I just heard centers don't matter. That's what I heard. I just heard centers don't matter.
I'm not trying to offend all these 300-pound whatever guys out there
and
that crush me.
So you shouldn't.
Right.
But I'm just saying, Jason Kelsey.
All right, so Barkley's your sleeper. Couldn't disagree more with that. Love it. He's actually one of mine.
And the skill that's around him there in Philly is incredible.
He's got a great line.
Two receivers, great tight end.
And Jalen Hurts can run, so he won't. Unlike the Giants, where everyone stacked the box because Danny Dimes, sure he's a great dude. I'm sure he gives to charity. I'm sure he's an awesome person. Cannot throw the football. Sorry, he is not good. They stacked the box. Saquon Barkley could not run because he had no one to block for him and everyone was there. Carl, who's your boy?
All right. Well, it's a foregone conclusion, right? Christian McCaffrey, you got him. But what about my team? Okay, the New York Jets.
Jesus.
Okay, Brees Hall.
Okay.
He had amazing last year. Where
Well, coming off an ACL,
the year before his rookie year, he was phenomenal.
but he had an ACL
That is correct.
get back.
So
And,
I
and
like
he
that
plays
pick.
for the Jets.
they're shoring up the front line.
I like that pick,
Right.
Carl.
If Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, we got some receivers now. I think Brees Hall is the pick.
Well, Carl, to your point, if Aaron lasts 5 plays this year, it will be a win. I mean, because it'll be one more than he had last year. So, I mean, for the love of God, it's got to be better,
Well,
right?
but to Carl's point, though, I think Brees is a good pick just for the fact that last
I
year,
like it.
last year once Aaron went down, they stacked the box because they forced the MILF Hunter to pass.
The MILF Hunter, poor
And,
guy. I feel bad for that dude. If he could
So
just
we'll
sit on
see
the
how he does
sideline.
moving out west to Denver. But Brees Hall is a really good pick. He's ranked 3rd on the list this year going preseason. The top 3 you guys have covered with Bijan, Christian, and Brees Hall.
Jan, he's my boy.
But we got to, in the next group, 4 through 9, give us another sleeper for the group.
All right. Well, what about a guy that was the team's pretty much only offense, played hurt, I believe from Alabama, and is now in Shooter's home team, the Green Bay Packers?
Josh Jacobs.
Ooh, God, is that you?
Yes.
God, are you talking to me? I just heard
Shooter's
Josh
going to be really happy about
Josh Jacobs, I think, has something to
Preach,
prove. I will. Thank you, Lord. He has something to prove. Here's the thing. He went from the Raiders, where he was the entire offense, because he did have a guy that loved to sling the ball and wouldn't give him the rock. He hardly ever threw it to him, even though he can catch out of the backfield. He's going to Green Bay, where you have a young quarterback who, by the way, was 2nd in touchdown passes last year. With
Threw for over
32.
4,000 yards.
Yeah.
Not too
4,000
shabby.
yards.
I mean, that's pretty damn good. And he's got now a running back that's a horse. He's like a mini Derrick Henry, because that's all Alabama people have, are stables. They have a stable of running backs. But while we're on Derrick Henry real quick, he's going to be like that Bugatti that looks great, massive, but when it blows a tire, it doesn't move very fast. It's on the sideline on a jack.
Take Henry second half.
Maybe.
Period.
In the
So
past,
you
half
have
of
John,
the game, or are you talking second half of the season?
Second half of the
Because he's
season.
second half of the
That's-
season kind of
Yeah,
guy.
that's
John,
him.
John in the past could not be more correct. I think he's done. I think that he has blown the tire. Baltimore wasted the money. But to your point, John, in years past, we have won many a fantasy football on his back, going for 220, 250, lighting it up on games that didn't matter, and he crushed it.
So always you got to look at Detroit's running backs, whoever they have.
Swift.
Eventually, they are going to feed that person the ball, because basically they don't have a running quarterback,
No.
and their coach loves to just pound.
Well,
the
they got
ball.
another Alabama guy there, in Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
Gibbs,
so
yeah.
that Gibbs could be the guy. You really got to pay
Nick
attention.
Saban didn't have any success there in Tuscaloosa, did he?
You
Dear
just- you
God.
you gotta
not much
pay
at all.
attention to any running backs that are playing for Detroit.
Well,
And weak run defenses. Don't forget about that.
yeah.
That's a great match.
Well, the Detroit pick, I love that just for the fact you boys know near and dear to my heart. One of my good friends' sons is in camp there with the Lions trying to become their long snapper. Little shout out to my boy Hogan Hatton.
Hogan.
So, question: do you guys run away from people that, like for us, for the salary cap? I cannot imagine Nick Chubb is going to be very expensive. And before he had that gruesome injury, which my heart actually went out to him because I had him that night, so it hurt doubly bad. I can't imagine with the talent that he had, because he had a bad injury in college, if I recall. Shooter, you can check me on that later. He came back from that injury and did well. How are you, if you're looking to slide a running back in because you need the salary room, or you're it falls to you in maybe the 8th position to pick Chubb? How much?
Well, right now, preseason, Fantasy Pros has him as the 31st ranked running back.
Okay.
And before his injury, he was one of the top 3.
Oh, he was crushing it.
Yeah.
What do you think, John?
Game to game, gotta see if you need him. Depends on who he's playing. Carl mentioned check on the run defense, and then they'll feature him more. That's some of these conferences they're rough games, man. Some of these guys, after they getting pounded for all day, they're gonna hurt the next week. They're not gonna be as effective.
Well, and that brings me to my point about Derrick Henry that I was talking about earlier. If you go back and look, Jamal Charles ran over 300 times 2 seasons in a row. 3rd season, nothing. Larry,
Ran him out of the league, basically.
ran him out of the league. They both played for Kansas City. Larry
Johnson.
LJ,
Penn State boy.
Same thing. Penn State guy ran him over 300 times for 2 years in a row. Third year, he was done. He and LT were the 1-2 picks in one draft. That year, after doing 2 stints of 300 carries a game.
A year.
Or year, excuse me. Sorry, that'd be a lot for a game.
Yeah,
but a year.
be.
I just did a Biden moment. My bad.
Fact check him.
Fair enough. But the next year, they were 1-2 picks, and LT crushed them because the tires were worn out. I mean, you have a nice car. Your tires only last for so long.
It's a different NFL. You cannot. It used to be you
Plus he can't catch.
rode that
Correct.
running back all season long, and you won the league. Now it's got to be a running quarterback, and you got to find that.
Well, see, that's where
rookie wide receiver,
and that's where I disagree with Trick, because I think Derrick Henry is going to be highly successful in Baltimore because of Lamar Jackson and Lamar's ability now to throw the football, but also the ability that he's one step away from going 40 on you like that. I think it's going to open up lanes for Derrick Henry, and I think Derrick Henry is going to open up lanes for Lamar. I think Baltimore is going to have a big year.
To your point, John, that yes, it's a different NFL. That you don't have that workhorse.
It is a different NFL.
Okay, good. Then I'll put this out to all three of y'all. Who was Derrick Henry's relief? Name the running back.
Okay.
Oh, crickets. Imagine that. You know why? Because he was the only one there, which is why his tires are going to blow up this year.
I just, with his workout regimen, I think he's got a couple years left on the treads on that tire. I just think he's exceptional.
That's fair.
But you guys have touched on obviously the top 5. Travis Etienne in Jacksonville
has potential.
He's
was
out
great
there.
At Clemson.
Obviously, you went to Josh Jacobs, but we have not talked about Jonathan Taylor in Indy.
Mm-hmm.
I think, coming off of Anthony Richardson's healthy, comes back from his injuries at the quarterback position for them, changes up their look and their dynamic. He's one that was a workhorse before he got hurt and was big yardage every week.
As someone who follows Florida football very closely, in basketball terms, we would call him a ball hog. He ain't giving that rock up. He's either going to pass every time until the coach tells him he has to hand it to him.
Well, how about you're big on Houston. I know that because you love CJ, but Joe Mixon moving from Cincinnati to Houston.
I think that will help this kid out a lot because here's the problem with that kid. They're going to have film on him now, and they're going to see what he's doing. And I don't think he's going to be quite as fortunate to throw as many bombs as he did for touchdowns. I don't think he's going to have the luck he had. But we're not talking about quarterbacks. We're talking about running backs. I do like Mixon because he's going to help him a lot. He is. What about the Aints? Who's their running back?
Every time I hear that, I have to laugh.
I mean, how do you not like?
Well, first of all, who's their quarterback? That'll tell me who their running back is.
Kamara's their running back.
Yeah, but Derek Carr's still there at QB too.
Well, but he can sling that rock, man. He can,
yeah, but not very well.
Well, that's fair, but I don't know. Kamara is a double threat back. He can run and pound you and run you over, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he can even do a 10-yard slant and catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I like this kid. I think he hasn't had a 1,000-yard rushing season in the first 7 years, but he's scored touchdowns. He catches the ball.
He's been a points maker, is what he's been.
He has. So, he had a little legal trouble.
Is that going to be your number 1 pick?
No, I don't do snake drafts. I do salary caps, but he'll probably be on there.
Let me throw one at you for our boy Shooter because I know his love. He eats the cheese, but this one is one that got away from him.
He actually wears the cheese.
Obviously, with Josh Jacobs moving from Vegas to Lambeau, but Aaron Jones went in division about 300-400 miles away from Green Bay to
never
the
pick
Minnesota
Aaron
Vikings
Jones again.
Minnesota.
I will never pick that guy
you, John?
again. He's dead
to
me.
You?
I mean, he had 2 good games in fantasy.
He was really good for him down the stretch in the playoffs.
It doesn't matter.
Was that the reason you never won a championship at the Cats?
There's a lot of reasons, but Aaron Jones dead to me.
I haven't been in the top 35 in Cats and Jammers. It's been a donation for years. And that's even with my son Jack picking the teams.
Don't do it. Don't get sucked in.
All right. So even though I am hard on Henry, I have one running back you need to stay away from even more.
Who's that?
Well, he has a walker when he runs because he's so old. Luckily, he lives in a state that's warm, so it helps with the bones and the arthritis. And that is a famous conductor named Mozart. I think I'm saying his name right.
How
Out
about
of
Devin
Miami.
Chain?
Out of Miami.
Out of Miami. This dude is so old. He's going to take one hit on the hip and crack it.
That's why.
A-Chain is the call.
A-Chain.
A-Chain. So
A-Chain, Night
yeah,
Train.
I agree.
Yeah.
Woo, woo.
I would not be afraid to take Raheem.
No, he's so old.
He's a production horse.
Not when he breaks his hip.
He's a production horse. Trust me.
Oh, well, and that's why you rank where you rank, and Carl ranks where he ranks.
Okay. You got to remember, I'm really good at picking stuff when I don't have any of my money involved.
This is fair. This is fair.
But when I've got my money involved, for whatever reason, it seems to go haywire.
I'll put it this way. I would pick Nick Chubb over Mozart.
Oh, my
Agree.
God.
Totally agree.
Without
Really?
question. Without question. This dude is
That-
one hit away from never playing again.
Oh,
And here's the thing. He wouldn't be as good as he was if he didn't have the two best tandem in the NFL at wide receiver. And by the way, Tua, though,
I'm more worried about those two staying healthy than
no,
him.
oh, fair, because yeah, fair. But my point is, when they're both on the field, which is what he got most of his stats in the beginning of the year, was the fact of the matter is they were both out there stretching the field. You might have had 6 in the box because they tried to double both Hill and Waddle. Then you have
Patrick,
the tight
are
end
you
coming
talking,
across.
You talking soccer, stretching the field?
No, I don't know about soccer. I know about football, American sport. But I appreciate you saying soccer and not football and confusing me because I'm just a big dumb animal.
All
That's
right.
yeah.
My point being is that's the reason why he did as well as he did because he had the best 2 wide receiver tandem in the entire league and a quarterback that could actually sing the rock.
All right. Well, the boys are telling me from behind the screen we're on a hard out here, boys.
Nah, it's monkey shit.
Go to the next break. We want to thank Leslie Management for our sponsorship, and we'll be back in just a minute. Thank you. And we're back. And we again want to thank Leslie Management for that last segment. Hey, boys, it's time. We're going to keep moving forward here with training camp we talked about earlier, opening up in a couple weeks. We want to get into the over-under on wins. And this week, we're going to feature 2. We're going to feature the AFC East and the NFC East.
Love it.
And we're going to start off with what Vegas has on the books right now. We're going to start off with Carl's Jets, Jets. And their over-under is
Why are you laughing?
Well, how did it work out for you last year?
Well, I'll go into that in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
They got 9.5 wins on the board for the Jets this year. 9.5. They open up going on the road all the way across the country with the 49ers.
Carl, you want to take this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Niners, tough game, but 9.5 was last year's line as well. And I remember. Boom. I remember.
Gratitude. You ain't leaving.
I remember last year, I was kind of all in on the under. I know we had Rodgers. I was at my local watering hole with my boy Trick and Scully, and we were sitting there. I was talking to Scully. I was like, "Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, great. Maybe he can make a difference, maybe not." And I said 9.5. What do you think, Scully? I said, I think I'm going the under. He goes, "Oh no, go with the over. They're gonna have a great year."
I'm pretty sure we went game by game, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's kind of how it went.
Yeah. I
remember going game by game, and we had them winning 11 games.
We thought, yeah. I mean, obviously,
Who knew he was
one of the
playing
greatest
4
quarterbacks
snaps?
in the history of the game. Obviously, when you see his calf go poof.
Speaking like a true gambler,
and again,
blaming all his losses on everybody else.
Said. Again, that's what
Okay,
I said.
that's kind of fair.
What if Rodgers goes down? I said, then we're done. 9.5's not going to happen.
So bet the under.
So what changed your mind?
Okay, so let's fast forward. Okay, I think it's still going to be an under. I mean, Rodgers, great talent. He is getting older, and I think that's going to have a little bit of a consequence. So the under is the play.
Oh
no, it is. Listen, we're not having an instant replay of 4 fucking plays. This man is going to light it up because he's got something to prove. Everyone's saying he's too old. He's going to play to the best ability he has. He's got a fantastic running back, which you spoke about the segment before. He's got one, in my opinion, one of the top 3 wide receivers. I don't give a shit if the stats show it or not. But that's only because he didn't play last year because he had the MILF hunter, as you said, throwing to him. And he may be a good guy in slaying MILFs. He's not a good quarterback throwing the rock to Wilson. Aaron Rodgers is. He's got the talent. He's got the best 2 tackles There is. I shouldn't say that. He's got the number 3 and number 4 rated tackle on both sides.
Yeah.
There is no doubt. I mean, Rodgers is a class act, but I think that, he's getting older. He can't scramble it like he did back in Green Bay. So we'll see.
Check this out, because this is the reality check. I don't think you guys understand, but I played semi-pro sports back in the day.
Fancy.
So soccer.
In his own mind.
Boom.
In his own mind.
Gratitude.
Here's the deal. No way Rodgers goes over 9.5. When you're playing on artificial turf, your life is limited. He played in Green Bay on grass. And I will tell you, Scully, you can chime in. It's a much different recovery time and all kinds of injuries. Orthopedic surgeons love artificial turf.
John, you're 100% right. And there's a lot of people last year that said after he had that injury, if he would have been playing on grass, his cleats would have given. Instead, they caught, which has ended up causing the.
And he's
the
old
pull.
now. He's older. So
yeah, but I know he's older, but I still have the clip in my head of watching the defensive coordinator in the defensive practice when they're just about to break camp, and Rodgers made a throw.
This was on this was on HBO.
Yeah,
deal.
against Sauce.
Yeah, but
he
it was,
made a throw that
Hard
torched him.
Knocks.
Yeah, that torched him, and he's going off
That
on his
is
defense.
that's one
Continue,
game.
Scully.
And he just said, and I'll keep it a little bit clean. And he says, "Boys, we're going to win a lot of games because this mother effer is on our team."
Because we got that guy.
Exactly.
He does rally. He does.
Yeah.
He's a great captain. He's great for the Jets.
9 games.
All right. So
John-
Johnny's got 9. John thinks he's under.
So here's the thing: a gentleman $2 bet. Me and you, they win 10. I take 10 or more. You take 9 or less.
I'm a gambling man.
And you got
have
to
I ever
sign
been
it.
scared?
No, I didn't say you were scared. I asked you if you want to take a bet for $2.
All right. Well, you guys got your bet there. So we're going to move across the great state of New York to Buffalo.
I'll even shave my head if I lose.
You do that anyway. That's like shaving my balls.
Yeah.
I do it already. That's not really a
Could you
win.
take your hat off?
Oh, we didn't need to go into the manscaping.
It's not
there,
a stretch.
Ricky. But we'll move across to the great city of Buffalo. I have fond memories of Buffalo Wings from going to see my daughter play volleyball at Niagara University. So
Patrick
great
and I
city.
had
But
a
the
lot of
Bills
conference.
Yes.
Bills are at 10.5. Stephon Diggs has moved on. Where are we
I
at?
got a man crush on Allen. That dude will run you over and throw over the top of you any chance he gets. I'm going over, even though we went through the schedule. And by the way, John is probably so. You people that are listening, go with John. I'm going with my heart because of a man crush, and these guys are phenomenal. The team is great. 10.5 seems too low, but when we went through the games they had to play, it's a rough schedule. So they better win some that they shouldn't, and they better not lose any that they should. So I'm going over for that reason. It's not analytical at all. It's just heart because I know Allen refuses to lose.
Trick. What are the odds on them going over or under?
So over.
Do I hear another $2 bet?
No.
No,
He
I don't-
knows
we're,
it.
we're not disagreeing
He
with
knows
this.
it.
It's just more of the insight from Vegas because, again, they build those big fucking places for a reason. But the under 10.5, John, is minus 155, and the over 10.5 is plus 125. So they're
That's all
telling
I
you to
need to
take the
know.
under.
That's all I need to know.
Again, analytical. I said everyone should go with you. I'm telling you
Under.
what I feel in my heart. You're going to win $125 if you bet 100.
I want Buffalo to win and
I
make
know
it
you
to
do.
the playoffs.
I know you do.
But
Well, they open up with the Jags and then they go to Baltimore.
you just can't fight Vegas.
They open up with Arizona, I believe.
No, they open up with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh, I'll have a
Oh, I'm
$2
sorry.
bet on that.
I'm sorry.
Someone's
correct.
Someone's wearing the
Yoda
Yoda mask.
Yoda mask.
Oh,
You're
is
right.
that the thing? Whoever makes the last
Yeah.
mistake has to wear it.
I had this damn computer too far. They open up with the Cardinals, then go to the Dolphins, come home for the Jags, and then to Baltimore.
Not only do I look like an elephant, I have a memory like one.
Well, so then technically they're probably 1-0 coming out of Arizona.
Agreed.
I think they lose to Miami in Miami.
I agree.
It's going to be hot and humid. It's
Yep.
early in the year.
And they can't play down there.
Yeah, Buffalo likes to play them in the December game,
Correct.
not a September game.
So they're
That-
1-1,
Then they come home to Jacksonville.
2-1,
Then they go to Baltimore.
2-2,
Then they go to Houston.
3-2.
Then they go to the Jets.
3-3.
I'm
Yeah,
going
on a healthy Rodgers.
Well, yes. You know what? I'll concede my jet-loving friend that
Okay, come home to the Titans.
win.
Go all the way across the country, playing a tough place, Seahawks.
The Sea Chickens?
Yep.
Are you kidding me? Now, Sean Payton's there, and he is good, but he's their best player.
Sean Payton's not in Seattle. He's in
he's in Denver. Oh, even better. I just took the Yoda mask. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's even more of a win. The Sea Chickens, give me a break.
Then they come home to Miami.
That's a win at home.
Which is that's actually good for Miami playing in Buffalo in
November 3rd, I believe.
Yeah, that's before it gets super cold. That's wow.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
on point.
Yoda.
That's right.
Then they go to.
Am I missing anything?
No, you're right on so far.
They've got 3 losses so far, and that's the one given the Jets.
Then they go to the Colts. Colts will be a tough game.
No, they don't have a quarterback, man. Is the Minshew going to do it for him again? Oh, that's right. We got the ball hog playing there.
Well,
now.
then the 17th of November, you have Mahomes versus Allen.
Loss.
7.
They can't beat Kansas City. Loss. That's 4.
Then they're hosting the Niners.
That's 5.
They go across country again. They got a lot of cross country travel this year in their deal. They got to go play the Rams in SoFi.
Win.
Then to
hey, Matt Stafford's still pissed about his girl fucking his back up in high school.
Oh, yeah, we won't get into that conversation right now.
Hey, not my words. I'm just reporting the news.
What the hell was his wife thinking?
I don't know, because I would do Matt Stafford, and I'm not gay.
Well, then you got to wait and see. Is this a bounce back year to the Detroit Lions actually playing like the Detroit Lions, or is Man Campbell going to have them going?
And there again, that's 6 losses right there.
Yeah, so they're at the Lions, and then Week 16 they're home for the Patriots.
Win.
Home for the Jets.
Win.
And then they close on the road with the New England Patriots.
Win. So as I started this statement to begin with, they've got to win one game they should lose and not lose any games they should win. Okay. And Allen's a player. So, John, I agree with you, actually.
So you're both are taking the over.
No,
10.5?
John's taking the over.
I'm under.
You're under?
I got the over.
I'm taking the over.
All right. Carlin,
he is a gamer.
He is a gamer.
All
right, so Shooter's got that. Now, how about this, though? We'll move on to the next topic. The New England Patriots, when was the last time that they were on the board in Vegas with 4.5 as their over-under on wins?
I'm going to go on a limb right now. And they had a bet back in the day with Tom Brady and Randy Moss that they would go 16-0. I want to find the Vegas bet that allows them to go 0-16. They are not going to win a game. Not one.
7. Yeah.
Well,
17
may win
games.
17. Even better. My odds will get better. They're not winning a game. The only way they win a game, seriously, the only way they win a game this year is if the team they are playing
is 16-0.
If they lose, lets a team into the playoffs that they want in. That is the only way they win a game. And that'll be in week 17 or 18. I guess it's a week 17.
Do you remember the Patriots before they went on that run and Bledsoe and Brady?
Oh, yeah.
They were
horrific.
2-16.
Well, they had a stretch from when they went to the Super Bowl with Parcells to when
in '85.
Right,
it was the 90s.
Oh, you're right.
But not to piss anybody off out there, but
Right.
they're toast.
Yeah, they're done.
They're in
Boston. Love you. I mean, your city's fun to visit. You got a ton of culture, but for the love of God, your football team's going to suck balls.
New coach, new quarterback, the whole deal. So
they will not win a game.
They got
you heard
that
it here first.
big strapping young man from North Carolina.
I stand by my statement. They do not win. Oh, sorry. Preseason games they're going to win, but they won't win a regular game. Because a little tag note on that: if you're a degenerate and really want to bet preseason, take the teams that need to put asses in the seats and sell tickets. Take them to win, and take the over. That's all I got to say about preseason.
Okay, so let's move down to our area across the state. The Miami Sound Machine, the Dolphins.
Gloria Stefan.
They're 9.5. Over and under.
John?
That's a tough one.
Wow.
That is a tough one.
It's an over. They win.
Is that Florida State education coming into effect there? I could see the wheels spinning in your head right
I
there.
saw smoke coming out his ears, and that's wearing headphones.
You know, it's all about injuries. It's
all right, barring minimal injuries. What do you think?
I think they go over. I mean, it's a weak conference.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It is a weak conference.
We've already said
I think they're going to go over as well.
Agreed. We've already said they're going to split with Buffalo, win at home, lose there. They're beating Miami. They might split with the Jets, but most likely they're going to beat both of them.
They usually kind of do, oddly enough.
Okay, so they split with Buffalo and the Jets, so that's 2 wins. They're going to go. That's 4 wins out of the division because they're going to again. New England's not winning a game, so that's 4 wins right there. I don't know what the rest of it looks like, but with Tua, Hill, and
Waddle. And Raheem Mostert.
with A-Train, because Mostert's going to go on Social Security. Basically, they win 10 games at least. They're going to be in the playoff hunt.
Well, we talked about running backs, and obviously we touched on the quarterbacks a little bit, but they had some big losses on the defensive side of the ball too, though, with Gerald Wilkins, the stud defensive tackle. He moved on, so they're going to have a little defensive challenge. So we'll see.
But if I recall from last year, they didn't have a problem putting up points. They always had a problem stopping people from putting up points.
And then they couldn't play in the cold when they went up to Kansas City.
And that's what killed them.
Yeah.
Had they played in Miami, I think they would have given them.
I'm
not saying they're going to win,
much better game.
but it would have been a much better game. They would have been a much better game for them to play.
Well, that was also too like in the top 5 or 6 all-time coldest games in the NFL
it was like
history.
-6 or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to play in that?
Trust
I enjoyed
me,
watching it.
Knowing from past experience that you get bumped, you don't feel that till about 3 days later, till your body actually thaws out, and all of a sudden shit starts welting up.
Yeah, good luck. Have fun with that. I like watching it. I wouldn't want to play in it.
All right, so you guys are all big believers in the Dolphins making their number. We'll move on to the.
So that means we should bet the under then.
That's right.
We all believe that.
Yeah,
we should
for
all
sure.
bet the under.
All three agreed on that. There we go.
Opposite. It's opposite day.
Well, we'll move to the NFC East, and we're gonna start off with the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, I'm a huge Jason Kelce fan and his retirement, and I think it's gonna have a little more impact than you boys do. But they're at 10.5 on the over/under. Obviously, with the acquisition of Saquon Barkley, is big for them. So, let me know what you're thinking there.
I'm going to say not only am I going to predict the over, but I'm going to predict the exact number of games they're going to win. And that number is 11.
He ain't leaving.
You think 11?
11. They do
Wow.
it. Yeah.
That's ballsy. I like it.
That's a big pick right there.
I like it.
It is over 10.5.
That is over 10.5 by a half.
Not really that
By
much
the
of a
hair of your
stretch.
chitty chin chin.
16 maybe, but not 11. I don't see it.
Well, their
You don't
schedule.
think they'll go over?
Their schedule is interesting. They start off on the road at Baltimore. Then they go on the road, obviously, to the Patriots. That's a win.
That's a win.
Okay, that's one.
Then they're home for the Vikings.
That's a
Win.
win.
It's a win.
And then they got Shooters Pack at home.
Win.
Boom. Win.
They got the
Boom.
the Falcons.
Win.
They go to the Aints.
Win.
Oh, my God.
Win.
They're
All
at the Bucks.
Win.
Now the interesting thing is they get the bye in week 5,
That's gonna suck.
which is early because
That
that
sucks.
hurts. That's a
But
little
they
early.
get 2 buys now, right?
No,
Not yet.
not
No,
yet. When they
just
go to
one.
They just get one.
when they get to the 18-game schedule, you get the 2 buys. Then they come home for the Brownies.
Win.
Then they got to go to the Gigantes for week 7.
Win.
Then they go into Cincy to play Joe Cool.
Loss.
Then they're going to go play Fabio at Jacksonville Jaguars.
Win.
And then they go to Dallas. This will be their first time. That's on Sunday,
Loss.
11:10.
Bottom line,
Dallas
take
at home.
the wheelbarrow, head to the Hard Rock, and bet the shit out of the over and wins.
Yeah.
Period.
They go on the road to the Rams. They got to go to Baltimore.
That's a win. What, they play Baltimore twice?
Yeah, that's weird. It's the way the schedule says.
You sure that wasn't a preseason game?
No, you know what? No, that's all right. They go to week 15. They go to
that's normal.
Steelers,
I mean,
No,
Commanders.
they're out
No,
of the
they're
conference.
AFC. That's not.
They can't play Baltimore twice.
They play them in preseason.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they got the Cowboys, the Giants down the road to finish off the season.
So here's the thing. I'm with John. Back up the Brinks truck, like the one DB from Jacksonville said that time, number 20, Darius or whoever his name is. I don't know. Shooter fact check me on that later, and you can correct me. But his number was 20. Good DB. Went out to went to the Rams. Anyway, back up the Brinks truck because here's the thing. Even when Jalen Hurts gets hurt in Week 12, because he's going to, they will still already have 10 wins, and then they got to win one game.
That's pretty much what happened to them this year. They didn't win down the stretch.
They got to win one game of the next 5 because they're going to be 10-1, and their one loss will be to Dallas because it's in Dallas. And by the way, if it was in Philly, they would be 11-0.
Okay.
And you would already hit your over.
All right, so you guys are on the over with the Eagles.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
For
my double diamond lock right there.
sure. Ooh.
Dun dun dun.
Boom.
That's awesome. All right, we're gonna move to the nation's capital,
The Redskins.
And we're not going to
Why?
not get into
Why
politics
why?
today.
Why exactly?
Why? Can
Let's
we
move on?
on?
Can we skip this one?
Under.
Moving on.
6.5.
Who
Under.
cares?
Okay.
Done. Next.
All right, then we'll move a little bit north to the New York Gigante Giants.
Hey,
Danny
John,
Dimes.
you got a dime to flip?
No, and you have to remember
What's the
Excellent.
number, Scully? What's that
Hey,
number?
heads is over, tails is under.
the G-Men again is at 6.5.
Again, if you got a dime, I'll flip it. Tails is under, heads is over.
Yeah, and you know me, I have a hard time talking about the Giants. It's my fucking career ended on the damn floor of Giant Stadium.
So there you go.
Yeah. All right. So then we're
So let's wish them
Under.
ill. Under.
yeah.
Under.
Damn, Coach Bill Parcells putting up the garage doors in the middle of the game, so it created a little swirl of wind coming across. No excuses. I take ownership. Bad snap. Punter should have fucking got the ball off though. All right. So let's go down to the great city of Dallas. The Cowboys still haven't given Dak his extension.
Which means
What do
he's
you
gonna
think?
play
What
hard.
do you boys think the number's at?
I think the number's at 10.5.
Wow. He's got it. He's on it. You've been studying that board trick. It's at 10.5.
Yeah. And they're gonna split with Philly. So Philly and Dallas both win 5 games out of the division.
Well, let's see. Let's throw
Well,
in.
yeah, run through the.
But
the schedule.
I will throw the money at it for those guys though. Right now, Dak's looking for an extension, and obviously then we'll get into on the next episode. We'll get into the wide receivers.
Has Lamb because Lamb hasn't signed either. has he?
CD's looking for an extension,
Yeah.
and obviously he's ranked number 1 in fantasy for wide receivers.
To certain people, me not included, but fair enough. The so-called experts were going to show up, just for the record.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Let me pull up the Cowboys schedule here. But 10.5 is their over under.
I think Carl's going to take Ezekiel Elliott for the.
I think he
He's
should.
back in Dallas.
For his.
He came. The prodigal son has returned.
Well,
Yeah.
Say it
wait.
isn't so.
They resigned him.
Carl Elliott
Who has
as your
not
running
won?
back.
Who has not won a Katzenjammer championship?
Not it.
Pollard's
Okay.
gone and
Trick,
Ezekiel's back.
Have you?
I have one.
Yes.
I've won 2, John. or
I have
Carl.
won 3.
Nice.
3.
And
John?
what has
John?
that got you other
John?
than a big
I'm sorry, I
fat
missed that number.
bar tab?
Clout.
It does.
Not
It does.
not.
That's right. Bragging rights.
Clout.
That's what we have. It's all,
All
about
right,
bragging.
so here's
Knockout clout.
here's the Cowboys schedule. They go to Cleveland. They're home for the Aints. They got the Ravens at home. Then they go to the Giants. Then they go to Pittsburgh. Then they got the Lions at home. And then they go to San Francisco. They go to Atlanta. They got Philly at home. And then and then they got the Texans. They play on the 18th, and then they got the Washington Commanders. So obviously, boys, down there in Dallas, they start off week 1. They go to Cleveland. They come home to play New Orleans. They go to Baltimore. They come home for the Giants, or they go to the Giants.
Wait, Scully, start over one more time. I'm sorry.
That's okay. They start off with the Browns.
Win.
They have New Orleans at home.
Win.
They have Baltimore at home.
Loss.
They go to the Giants.
Win.
They go to the Steelers.
Win.
They have the Lions at home.
Loss.
Loss.
They go to San Francisco.
Loss.
They go to Atlanta.
Win.
Win.
Eagles at home.
Loss.
Loss.
No, win. I'm gonna give them a win on that because they're at home and that's the division.
They usually
game.
split those games.
They do.
Traditionally.
Agreed.
Texans at home,
Win.
and then they go to on Thanksgiving Day. They're going to Washington.
Win.
Win.
the turkey.
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
The
Take that
turkey's
back.
not the only thing getting
Take
skinned
that
there.
back. They're at home on Thanksgiving
Yeah,
Day.
they're always
I'm
home.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. The way
Are they
that-
playing the Skins?
No, they got the Skins on Sunday.
No,
then they
they're
have the
playing
Giants at
Commanders.
home.
Come on, let's get this straight.
No,
Oh,
they will always
come
be the Skins
on.
to me. Fuck that.
Exactly. I will not call them the
Exactly.
Commanders.
I
so.
refuse.
Exactly.
Then they got Cincinnati in week 14.
Loss.
Week 15 they go to Carolina.
Win.
Week 16 they come to us. They play the Bucks.
Win.
And then they go on the road in the final week, or the last 2 weeks are at Philly and then home for Washington.
God, that's a tough
Loss.
schedule.
Win. They have
It
5
is.
losses.
They're right on that
It's the
number.
over. It's 11. They hit 11.
They're right on
They're
that
going to have
number.
5 losses, guaranteed.
Well, that's, so that we'll have to wait and see how Mike McCarthy does this year and if they get the boys signed. But let's talk divisions. AFC East, who's your pick in the AFC East? Buffalo?
Buffalo.
NFC East, Johnny?
Good call. I'm gonna have to get back with you on that one.
Philly.
Thinking, okay, you got Philly.
Yeah, Philly. I mean, that's totally
Philly wins it because
Yeah.
you have two stepchildren in the Giants and the Skins. So then you have Dallas and
split
Philly.
with Dallas,
and they've split both games. They're gonna have the same conference record. So it's really gonna be who wins the most NFC games. And I think Philly has more home games.
And looking at like who they picked up and
Right.
what's the injury report, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
I still go with Philly.
Okay. All right. So we're on the record with Philly and Buffalo. Everybody feels strong about Buffalo.
I do. Miami will make the playoffs though.
Okay. All right. We'll get back next week. We're going to move a little bit to the west. I'm going to go with the AFC North and the NFC North. But again, thanks to our sponsor this time around. It goes to Trix Bar and Grill.
Woo!
Stop by and get some really good hot wings. We'll be back in just a minute to wrap it up. Thank you. And we are back, and we want to thank you for tuning in today. This was our maiden voyage of the inaugural Reality Check podcast. I can't thank my guys enough for their hard work. Just in closing comments for me, as I'm going to kind of pass the mic around, the sports world is kind of chaotic right now, as is the real world. And we're going to try to share some fun, different takes on certain things, and we want this to be interactive with you. So again, thanks for taking time. John, I'm gonna close with don't forget to watch Caitlin Clark tomorrow night. I'm
going to give you a 60-second thought on that. I love soccer, and it is going to grow and continue to just be badass. It's getting better and better, and people need to start watching it.
No, we've got
number one.
Yeah.
Number two, Caitlin Clark is fake news. Boom. Fake news. And let me explain to you why. The WNBA, I might fact check me, is losing money. Is it not?
Oh, they were hemorrhaging money till she came in.
Okay. Still losing money.
I mean, she got them all. Now they're on charter flights.
Indiana is not.
Wherever Indiana is not, that's 100% correct. And wherever she's going, they sell out. They've had to move the women's teams into the men's arenas 3 or 4 times.
She's gonna give it a college try. I really appreciate that, and I respect it. But if you talk about her one more time, you won't see me here next week. Okay?
All right,
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. Thank you, Trickster.
Yes. Well, I'd like to comment on one thing that is getting me involved in soccer is that apparently there was a huge brawl in the stands because these people don't know how to act.
I think that was at the COPA game.
That's
At the COPA
post
game, yes.
Yeah.
And these fans, when I say these people, I mean the fans of soccer, don't know how to act and act civilized. They need apparently to have a jail like they had in Philly at the vet and have a judge rain on them. Nope. This is my 1 minute. You don't get to say anything, John. I saw you trying to go. Nope. Derrick Henry's going to be a bust. What is my other thought? Oh, and unlike John, you can talk about Caitlin Clark all you want because I ain't leaving. Thank you so much for your time.
They were accosting his family.
And
Is that what it was?
Yeah. His family was in the crowd.
Who was him?
And the Uruguayans, if I'm saying that correctly, was like completely berating and getting completely out of control.
So they deserve to get the shit kicked out of them.
Well, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. But apparently in our society we are now, words are more hurtful than sticks.
Yes.
I would like to find someone that thinks that because I'm going to hit him with a stick.
All right.
And I'm going to see what I say.
Find me passion like you see at a soccer game around the world.
John, I will call
it is
you
the
any
number
name.
one sport in the world. by the way.
100%. I'm
The
not
US
talking
for a very long
has it
time.
wrong.
All right.
My
Listen.
portly
All
white
right.
friend.
Listen, coconut. And then the reason why it's the number one sport in the world is because you can play it with a fucking coconut.
All right,
You don't need anything.
We're getting close. Shooter's looking at me behind the screen. Let's get Yoda's final thoughts, and then I'll wrap this thing up.
We'll
Okay,
talk
I'm
after
gonna
this.
impart my
Yes,
wisdom.
because I'm going to hit you
a
with
little-
a stick.
All right, I'm talking now. Little fun fact, okay? Give a man a fish, and he'll eat for a day.
Oh my God.
What? Wait. You think you know this, right?
do know this.
Give a man a fish, and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man a fish, and he will sit in his boat and drink beer all day.
Oh, nice.
Yoda.
That is the reality.
And for the record, it is Yooda. Yoda.
All right.
Well done, sir.
Can somebody explain to me what the Yoda means? Why we're talking Yoda? Because I don't think we touched that.
Oh, yeah. So we do need to do that real quick. Why don't you enlighten us, John?
So on the reality check, it's the truth as we know it.
That
And
is
yet we
correct.
have our producer backstage, not Yoda, but Shooter. And if he detects a fact that is incorrect, so we're going to be doing fact checks here, stats and whatnot, and everything that we're doing. That person, if he gives an incorrect fact, he or that person, she,
They're all he's. We're all he's.
has to wear the Yoda mask for the whole next show.
Now, is it the one that fucks up last or the one that fucks up first?
If we all fuck up,
It's the
Then
one
we
who did
all
it
gotta
last?
We're all
We
wearing
got to
it.
get multiple masks.
I think it should be the one that fucks up last.
how about this? We have 3 masks. We have a Yoda mask, a Biden mask, and a Trump mask. Because we're all fucking liars.
Bingo.
Look at this guy. Caitlin Clark mask.
Oh my God.
All
Hey,
right.
Scully, thank you for hosting, buddy. This has been fun.
Hey, this is our maiden voyage. We can't thank you enough for being with us. We will talk all sports, anything from that, politics to sports and everything in between. And that's what we're here for, the reality check. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.